Hey, welcome to High Level Mastery, and in this video I'm going to give you an overview of what Go High Level is and what's included. Check it out. What I'd like to do is, from a 30,000 foot view, give you an idea of really what is capable in High Level, walk you through the tools, through some of the navigation, that way you know how to really get inside the system and to start utilizing it. Now, here's what I'll say. High Level is very much like IKEA. And it's one of those things where, like, if you have specific instructions and you know what you want to complete, then you can really build it out. You can do some pretty incredible stuff with it. But it's also one of those things where if you don't have the instructions, you're not quite sure what to do, then my recommendation is either A, work with somebody that knows exactly what they're doing, or B, watch a number of these tutorial videos to truly understand what it is you want to accomplish, because then the end goal is going to be much more in alignment with what you want to achieve, because the system can do a lot. So don't get overwhelmed by it, but you do want to make sure you have a working knowledge of what it is that you're looking to obtain by going in the back, and what each one of the triggers do, and everything else that I'm going to show you here. So all I'm going to say is don't get overwhelmed. Just take this one little bite size, one piece at a time. Like I said, this is going to be a very high level overview, just to kind of show you what is possible, what the system can do. And then in later training videos, I'm going to take you through and show you how to do really cool tips and tricks on the back end to truly start to automate your process. So let's start from the very beginning. And what you notice here on the left-hand side, you've got a whole series of different menu options, from the dashboard, conversations. So I'm going to take you all the way through these. So some of the ones that I'm going to show you back here as far as the menu options, some you may have on there, some you may not, some you may use more than others. But either way, I just want to kind of run through each one just so you understand what each one of the options are and what you have available to you. The first part is going to be the dashboard. And the dashboard is just a really quick way to say, okay, you as a business owner, what is your business doing? How is your business doing? How is it performing? So ultimately, when you come to this dashboard, you can see very quickly to say, all right, here's my opportunities, here's my pipelines, here's where people sit, or prospects sit, or clients sit in the decision-making process. And then you can actually, if you assign dollar value to those leads, to those opportunities, and you begin to move them through this customer journey, the dashboard will tell you really quick, okay, well, did I win or did I lose that client? Or is it, kind of pending? Maybe it's still open. And then you can come in here real fast and say, all right, well, let's just say, for example, I have a coaching program and I've taken them from, I did some research, and then I sent a direct message, and then they were interested, and then they booked a call, and then they became a client, and I won that client. It's going to show me, all right, well, how many do I have currently sitting in like an open status where they're just interested versus an actual closed status where I won that and I captured the money, the income, and I was able to generate that from my business. And that's ultimately what this dashboard will show you. The other piece to notice too is that any tasks that you assign to yourself throughout the entire system, let's just say, John Smith comes on and he's a client of yours, and you're messaging back and forth, and John says, hey, Brendan, can you do me a favor? Hit me up in 3 weeks, and I want to continue our conversation from there. So you can actually assign tasks to yourself in the system, and then from there, any tasks that you have are going to populate on this right side right here. So you can select a specific user, whoever that user is going to be, and then you can see, okay, what are the things that I need to do? So when I come to my computer in the morning, I can look directly at that task list and say, okay, I got to reach out to this person, this person, this person. I got to make this phone call or send this text message. So it's a great way to help keep you accountable, keep you on track, and know where you left off in those conversations with the prospects, with those clients. Down here is more lead source reporting. So if you're getting heavy into lead generation, if you have like a call center, you can leverage a lot of that. If you're using Google My Business and you have that linked up, this will actually show you views, searches, how you're showing up on the Google platform. Any reviews, you can actually send a review form out to people that you've worked with to say, hey, hope you loved our service. I would love a quick 30-second review if you'd be so kind. So that is something you can send in the system, and you can see how your reviews are looking. And then a couple other little tidbits for you to utilize as well. So the second part you have over here is your conversations. And conversations is really just any communication that you have back and forth with a client is all going to be housed under one roof. So it makes it very simple for you to focus on, okay, who am I talking with? Where did I leave off with them? Any response that comes back is all going to be in here. So like, for example, this was a longer conversation, and then you can fetch older messages. So this was a whole test one that I was running for a couple of different triggers on a different video, but I left this person a voicemail, for example, and then I can go back and I can actually play this voicemail. So any emails, any texts, any Facebook messages, all that will live in here. And then on the right side, you can actually go deeper into the client specifically simply by clicking on their name. So for example, I can see the basic details, but if I click on the name itself and I go into it, now I have a full list of everything that's going on. So I have the contact, and we're going to get into contacts in a minute, but contact, general info, additional info, the conversation, and then on the right side, more activities. So that's conversations. The next piece you have is the opportunities. So your opportunities, think about your opportunities as like the lifeline of your customers. Okay, we started here and eventually we want to get to here, and we're going to move them down that pipeline in different stages based on the actions that they've taken, or even if you're just trying to stay on track with somebody, or where somebody is in a certain course maybe that you're offering or you're delivering or developing. So like, let's just say, for example, I had this gentleman, Mike, and Mike's opportunity starts over here. Well, as Mike progresses through, and maybe we're doing some coaching calls, right? Or he's got a certain number of sessions. Then when I'm done, I can just simply grab this card and I can drag it over. And the cool part is I can have as many pipelines ideally as I want to. So like, this happens to be a 4-week coaching session. If I had a lead pipeline, for example, that might be a little bit longer. So, or even a little bit shorter. Just depends on what are you trying to track. And that could be like a lead, under interested, booked appointment, not interested, or sold. So, and I'm not going to get too deep into this, but basically you can have triggers and automations on the back end that will automatically move an individual or move an opportunity from one pipeline to another based on actions they took. So like, let's just say, for example, I have this one individual, Dean, and Dean's a lead. Now, if she goes in and actually schedules an appointment with me, I can have it where this opportunity automatically gets transferred under booked appointment. So then I know from there, okay, great. When I come in, I want to see who are my booked appointments. That happens on the back end, so I don't have to worry about moving stuff manually. So that's opportunities, basically just a great way to track what's going on in your business along that client journey. Now, your next piece is going to be your marketing. And your marketing is a mix between your campaigns, so longer campaigns, so like a series of emails or text messages. Emails, bulk requests is actually something that's going to be phased out, so I wouldn't worry about that so much right this moment. We have trigger links, a form builder, a survey builder. There's a couple templates, and then also an HTML builder. So we'll take this one at a time. So if you go into campaigns is basically, okay, if I want to put somebody into a campaign takes somebody down a journey of either a message you want to share, some information you want to get out, and to create a campaign, you would just simply be able to click on this button over here on the right. We'll call it test campaign. And you can create a folder, you can throw it in there. Your campaigns, if you've ever used anything like an Active Campaign or a MailChimp, same kind of concept. So, and I'll do another thing on campaigns, but essentially you can go in there, so you can send a series of emails. It can be an email and then a text message and then a voicemail. So there's a lot of different choices on what you can add in campaigns. Emails is more of an actual customizable, templated layout for like an individual email by itself. So there's a couple of different styles. They have ones that are like predetermined formats, or you can also edit it based on whatever you want to throw in there. So if you typically send out, for example, like a company newsletter, or if you're used to more of like the MailChimp style where you can just drag in blocks and pieces, the typical campaigns that I was showing you earlier is really just basic HTML if you want to do any editing. So it's literally just like a blank document with just some words. The emails portion in here allows you to get super customizable and add pictures and logos and headers and footers and social media icons. So you have a lot more to play around with. And what's cool is that you can actually create a specific templated email. So for example, I'll go into here. And then once you save this, So you can create it exactly how you want. You can save it as a template. And then when you go back into campaigns, let's just say you want to send out 3 or 4 emails in that campaign, you can use this template that you just created inside that campaign. So I'm going to exit out of here. And then bulk requests. So again, this is something that I believe High Level will be phasing out, but essentially it allows you to do a custom action. Let's say you want to send out one email to a certain group or list of individuals. So initially, this is where they were using that under the bulk request option. Because they now have contact smart lists, which I'm going to show you, that's really where a lot of these updates are going to be taking place and how you're going to be able to send those actions out to people. So we're going to hop over that one. Trigger links. So what's really cool about trigger links is that I can create a link, and then based on when somebody clicks that link, I can have a series of actions take place. So let's just say, for example, I send an email out to my list, and let's say I'm a roofer, and I would love for somebody to take a roofing survey, and that if they go on there and they actually take that survey, I'm going to put them in a drawing to win a free $100 gift card to their favorite restaurant. Total example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a link. So in here, you can see that I have this link. This is the link URL. And I'm going to take that link and I'm going to throw it into my email. Now, when we get to triggers, I'm going to say, okay, when this trigger link is clicked by that individual, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add them onto a certain action. So I can add a tag to them. I can put them in a certain campaign. I can put them under a certain opportunity pipeline stage. So there's a lot of different things that I can do with it, and I can trigger other things that will happen automatically, so I don't have to go in there and do that manually. Then you have your form builder. So your form builder is essentially exactly what it is. It's a series of different forms. You can create as many as you like, and they can either be used by themselves with a link, or you can actually grab those, you can embed them in other sites, or if you're going to create a funnel, you can also add forms in there just by simply grabbing the form builder element, putting it where you want, and then selecting the forms from the form that you have. Survey, same kind of concept. So you can create as many surveys as you like. A survey is, there's a lot of different ways that you can create a survey and a lot of different options you can add into those surveys. Essentially, the difference between a form and a survey, forms are typically a series of questions just listed from top to bottom to gather general information or data. For the survey, depends on how you want to use it, but essentially, like the way I like to do is like one question at a time with a couple of radio options, like little radio check buttons. It's a great way to capture data fast if you want to get something previous from a customer. Let's just say before they book a call with you. So let's just say, like, for example, they land on your landing page, and instead of going straight from your landing page to just getting their name, email, and phone, and then going to your calendar, what you can do, and the way that we've set it up for many of our clients, is you have your landing page, and then they say, schedule a free time to book a free session with me. And then what it does is it jumps to a survey page. That survey actually grabs a lot of the pertinent information, anywhere between 5 to 8 questions of, hey, take 30 seconds, go through this survey, and let us know how we can best serve you before we hop on a call. And then after that survey is completed, then it goes into that contact's details with all the information. Then they can book a call, and now I can show up to the call a lot more prepared because I know about that individual, what they want to accomplish, what are they struggling with, and it puts it into a much easier position to have a natural flowing conversation because you already know what's going on with them. In terms of the form builder and the survey builder, what you'll notice is at the top, there's actually, let me scroll over a little bit. So there's the builder itself, and then there's submissions. So anytime that somebody actually submits a form or submits a survey, you can always come up here under submissions, and then you can see, you can filter either by the survey or the form itself, or you can just see all of them, and then you can see the details of what they had filled out. Then you have SMS and email templates. So similar to the emails that we had before, you can create actual templates for things that you want to send on a continual basis. And then you also have an HTML builder. So I wouldn't worry so much about the coding portion unless you really want to get heavy into that. And then we can do another training video as well. Reporting, most of you at this point probably won't use this, but if you do want to get heavy into the reporting, if you're starting to run things like Google ads, Facebook ads, if you do have somewhat of like a call center or multiple agents or staff or VA that are making calls on your behalf, you can leverage the call reporting, attribution reporting, appointment reporting. So really just knowing your numbers. What are you putting out there? Are you getting a good ROI return for all this money that you might be spending or throwing into advertising or paying your staff? Obviously, knowing your numbers definitely helps. So if you want to get into the data, you want to make sure, and we'll do another video on this, how to link up your Google ads or your Facebook ads per se, and then make sure that all this communication is really talking to each other and connecting. So when you run these reports, when you generate these, you know, okay, great, we spent XYZ thousands of dollars on ads or $100 on ads. This is the return, and this is how it flows with the system. So you can get really, really detailed. So you may have reporting on your back end, you may not, but if you do and you really want to dive deep into it, this is available for you. As for the scheduling, so the calendar in High Level syncs with Gmail, and you can get really detailed with this, and you can really view it by, you know, specific users, different calendars. You can do it weekly, monthly, but essentially when you set up the calendar in the back, everything is set to two-way sync. So whatever happens on one happens on the other, whatever happens on the other happens on this one. Now, again, this is just a demo account, so I don't have any calendar appointments in here, but if you do have appointments, it will actually show you a list of every appointment that you've got going all the way through, and then you can select different calendars and then who may have booked on those. So it'll say like, you know, confirmed, canceled, all the details and all the reasoning. From there, we have reputation. Now, reputation, this syncs up with your Google My Business account. So that is something that you have to make sure you have integrated on the back end. But essentially what you can do is after you work with a client or even just want to get general reviews from people that you've connected with, this will go through and break down all of the reviews, your requests, things that you send out there of, hey, you know, would you mind taking 5 minutes to give me a quick Google My Business review? Here you go. Here's the details. So that can be set up and that can be sent out. All right, so then we have contacts. And what's really cool about contacts is that you can break this down leveraging filters, because filters are tremendously powerful to extract details and information just solely based on either like tags or where they stand in a follow-up process, or maybe where they stand in terms of like an opportunity pipeline. And then once you go through and filter these people, you can do very specific customized actions. So for example, I can select a certain number of individuals, and then I can either change a pipeline stage, maybe all at one time. I can add them to a campaign. So let's just say there was a group of like 30 people I recently connected with, and I wanted to send them a campaign all at once. Then what I can do is I can select those 30 people, hit add to campaign, select my campaign, and off it goes. I can send an SMS. So let's just say I want to send a really quick text message. I can do that. If I want to send an email, I can do that. If I want to add a tag or maybe even take a tag off, and then maybe I want to delete contacts and just totally get them out, I can do that as well. And then you can either export contacts. So I want to take all these contacts or a certain group of individual contacts and then drag them out to a CSV file, or I can also import contacts. Now, if you do have duplicates of contacts, you can select the duplicates and then you would actually be able to just merge them. You can do up to 10 people, merge them under one. If you just find that you've had like the same person over and over, maybe with like different emails or different phones, and you want to put them all under one roof, then that's totally possible as well. Okay, and then we get to contact requests. Contact request is basically saying that, okay, I'm going to go into my contacts, I'm going to select a multiple number of contacts or one contact or whatever that is, and say that I want to go ahead and actually schedule an action to happen. So for example, I want to send this email or I want to send this text message or add them to this campaign at a specific time period. Then when you select that time period of whenever that's going to take place, then what you can see, for example, is I had a bulk action where I'm going to send this email and then this email, so I just called it email is test. It's going to be a bulk email, has not started yet. The next time it's going to fire is going to be in about a day. And then that's going to happen at 12:23 p.m. all on one given date. So that's what's going to happen. That is what's queued up. And then it also shows you who is scheduled by. At the same time, I can also come in here and I can choose to get rid of that. I can choose to manually edit when I want it to go out and change that start date. And yeah, so as simple as that. So that is your contact requests. Then you have funnels and websites. So a quick note, when you had your account first created, typically funnels, websites, memberships are not natively integrated or added on that when a new account gets created. So if you don't see that, then what you want to do is reach out to whoever you got signed up through, the support, the admin, and say, hey, I don't have access to this. Can you please grant me access? So once you have access, you'll be able to create a series as pretty much as many funnels as you want. You're not limited. Websites, I haven't found much of a reason to really leverage the website. Again, I guess it kind of depends on your business model, what you're looking to achieve. But for me personally, funnel has just been more effective because you can also have multiple stages in that funnel and take them through that client journey, anywhere from your general landing page, then maybe to a series of, survey questions, and then finally to schedule an appointment with me. The other thing to note too is that websites at the time of me shooting this video cannot include a payment gateway on there. So that is something that they are working to build in, but at this very moment, funnels are the only ones that can actually accept a payment. So if you do want to sell a product or a service or a program, then you definitely want to go ahead and leverage funnels to be able to do so. So these were just a couple of different examples of funnels that I had created. So like, for example, it will give you each one of the funnel steps that you have. Now, if you do happen to have a ClickFunnels account, for example, they make it very, very simple to create a brand new funnel in this system. All you have to do is grab the link from the ClickFunnels, put it in here, and then it will suck in that entire funnel, and then bam, you're up and running. So there's no downtime. I'll do a whole nother review on funnels, how to leverage them, but just know that they can be created. And then as far as the membership backend, basically opens up a separate portal window, and you can go in here and create as many products as you would like. And then eventually you can even take these products, you can turn them into an offer, either as a bundle or as an individual product by itself, for example. And then you can either give that away for free as like a lead magnet, you can sell those, and then you can go through and build out this entire product as in-depth as you'd like. And this is something that they're always working on. So there's going to be more automations, more triggers added. For example, so somebody comes onto your funnel, maybe they buy something and you want to give away one of your courses as like a free bonus. Those are all triggers that can be set up on the back end to say that when this product is purchased, give them access to this membership, which will include a login for them, the details, like the whole 9 yards. Then we get to triggers. And triggers is really what makes all of this work. Okay, so all the cool automation, all the back end stuff, triggers is what allows all these pieces to speak to one another. And essentially all a trigger is, and I'll show you what it looks like, is on the left-hand side, what you're going to see is, okay, what should trigger what else you want to have happen? And there's obviously plenty of options, but let's just say, for example, when a customer replies. So I send a message out to a customer, or a customer gets back to me. And this is actually something I've used, especially when it comes to like networking. It works really well. So let's just say I go to meet somebody. I say, hey, all right, text me the one word event. All right, so I'm going to say reply to, or reply channel. So they sent me an SMS. And I can be as specific as I want. So as long as the action meets all of this criteria I'm going to set up, then on the right side, if that's the case and this happens, then I want to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And all of that will happen automatically on the back end if that first condition is met. So here's what I'm saying. I want, if a customer replied to me in an SMS text message, and it is the exact match phrase event, then I want to add an action. And for example, let's just say I want to add them to a campaign. And that campaign is maybe one that says survey completed. Just, whatever, that could be whatever it is, or a text message auto reply. And then I would just go ahead, turn this active and save it. And now triggers, I can build as many of these as I would want. So however you want to automate your business, again, this is why I said at the very beginning, you want to make sure you have this well thought out. And, I'd say if you're going to try this, start with a couple simple ones, really basic ones. And again, I'll go through a whole nother training video on exactly how to leverage triggers, but that's what it does. If this happens, I want this to happen. And then that's what makes all the cool stuff happen in the back end. Online listings. Personally, I haven't used that for myself too much. So that is one thing I'm going to start getting a little bit more into. And that way I'll create a training video and show you exactly how to use it. The chat widget function, that is relatively new. So they just came out with this, but essentially what it allows you to do is grab a chat bubble and you can put that anywhere on your website and then start having immediate conversations with prospects that land on it. And maybe they say, hey, got a question about your service on X, Y, or Z. And then bam, you can get right into a conversation and start chatting with that individual. Affiliates is something I actually put on there afterwards. So that is a third-party piece, which doesn't come native with the system. But if you do want to have affiliates for your high-level software, there is another training video that I'd be more than happy to put up for you and show you exactly how to link that up with a third-party tool that says basically, okay, anytime that somebody wants to promote your high level or your service, you can put this on here and then somebody else can get a commission for that. And then you create a group of raving fans that's happy to share your stuff because they will get a commission on every time that that product gets sold that they referred. And then the last piece is settings. Help library is just a knowledge base, so I'll show you what that can look like. But you have your settings, and this is where everything really gets edited on the back end. So all of your details about your company. If you have admin status, you'll also have access to this portion up here, which says team management and teams. So if you have like groups of individuals, maybe one for like HR, one for support, one for like the C-suite, one for just general sales reps, you can create these teams. And then from these teams and team management is basically everyone that's on your team. Team says, okay, who's on this specific team? And you can add individuals to it. And based on how you set these up, also helps on how you're going to set up your calendars as well. So in terms of the team management, so there we go. I just have one person on there. Again, just a demo account, but I can also show you how to really start building these up in another training video. And then you have emails. So these are for your reviews. Your emails, email reviews you'll send. Then you have an SMS, which is also for your reviews, which you can set up too. You can have customized communication on when you actually want these to go out for reviews specifically. So between this certain time period or this certain time period, there's a review widget. So you can have this basically even on a site to say, hey, please give us your honest review or a 5-star review on Google. If you want somebody to be able to book, they have an appointment widget. And then, so these are your pipelines. So the opportunity stages that we were looking at earlier, these are the pipelines that you can go through and you can edit. So again, you can create as many of these as you want to. So let's just say you're launching a book, and in that book you have people that are interested. So you may have like an interested column, and everybody would, be created as an opportunity underneath there. And then let's just say, for example, someone clicks on a trigger link, and that trigger link moves them over from interested to like hot prospect. And then they actually come in and they buy your books, and then it was going to move them over to purchased or bought book. So that's just an example, and you can create as many pipelines as you want to track people through all of the services that you offer. Integrations, so exactly what it means. So this is how you're going to link everybody together. Your Google accounts, you can add multiple in there. Google My Business, this is where you would link that. So you can connect your Facebook account, you can connect your QuickBooks account. Then there's a couple other ones too. Your Stripe, so for all the payments on the back end. And then they are going to continually add on more to this as those integrations continue to grow. Your phone numbers. So these are any numbers that you want to be able to assign to yourself on the back end. So you don't necessarily want to use your own personal number, right? You want to keep everything here in the system. And the cool part is that whatever number you create that you generate, so for example, if I go to add number, I could choose a specific area code, let's just say 561, and all of these numbers are readily available for me to utilize. So this in essence becomes like my new business number. And then so basically that's the number I'm going to give out anytime that I want someone to send me a text. I can actually call through the system. I can text through the system. I can also do it on my phone as well because there's an app at the same time. So that is mainly the number that I always decide to run with. And it makes it really simple because everything is housed here in this system specifically. So I don't have to bounce back and forth between different text messaging gateways, or, like for example, having a Google phone number. I just create this one and everything is squared away. Then you have your calendars. So here's the entire calendar set up. I'm going to do another training on that if you really want to dive deep as far as how to set it up. There's multiple templates that you can use for messaging templates. Custom fields. So custom fields refers to, for example, the forms and the surveys. So anytime that you go and you create a form or a survey outside of like the basics, so what is your business name? What's your regular name? Your email, your phone number? Anytime you want to ask specific questions with either different options or yes, no, or whatever, when you create those, all of your custom fields are going to live in here. So any question that's specific to a contact, to a prospect, that's where these are going to live. Facebook form field mapping. So if you connected a Facebook account, then any of the ads and those questions are going to connect with the system here. So then that way it's going to basically transfer all of that data from the time that a survey in Facebook gets filled out, capture it in the high level system, and then keep it all here under one roof. Custom values. So there's a bit of a difference between custom values and custom fields. Custom fields is really to capture the client's information. Custom values allows you, in essence, to have one specific like link, but that link can always be edited on the back end with any updated information. Let's say you're going to have a webinar, and that webinar, the time and the date is always going to change, but everything else is going to stay the same. So what you can do, for example, is you can create a funnel, and on that funnel it says, hey, join my live webinar starting this Thursday at 7 p.m. So if you know that Thursday at 7 p.m. is something that's always going to be maybe modified or tweaked or changed, then what you do is you create a custom value that says like date of webinar and time of webinar with a specific value in the back. And then you grab this custom value, and then that custom value is what's going to lie on that actual funnel page and in the email itself. So when that funnel goes out, when those emails go out, wherever that custom value is, it's going to say, okay, well, what actual information do I need to pull? So whatever you typed in on the back end is now going to get sucked in to that custom value. So for example, if I go in the back here and I create a custom value and I say webinar day, and I put a value of Thursday, then anywhere where this custom value is throughout the entire system is going to get populated with this here for Thursday. Now let's just say I get done with that webinar on Thursday and my next webinar is going to be on Tuesday. Then all I have to do, rather than go into the funnel and go into the email, I can just come back here and I can change that to Tuesday, and that's actually going to pre-populate everything. So now it's all up to date. It's a great way. It's like a little hack back-end shortcut without having to go through and repopulate everything. So again, also another training video on that. You can do some really, really cool stuff with it though. Then you have domains, and domains is exactly what it is. So if you have a domain that you've purchased maybe anywhere else, you can go ahead, you can actually add that domain here in the back end, and then you can link up those domains with a funnel, also even with a website. So now that becomes your domain linked to exactly whatever it is that you want to share with your audience. Then you have your series of tags. So tags are a great way to be able to filter people, to add people into a specific group or a specific list. You can get as detailed with these as you want. You can keep them as broad as you want, but really it just kind of depends on what your goal is and what you want to achieve. And then this last piece, SMTP and mailgun service. So this is really what just allows you to send out your emails on a consistent basis. There's different ways you can set up your mail service provider. So the way that High Level works is High Level is the system within itself, but in order to send out text messages, in order to send out emails, it integrates with two third-party systems. So the text messages use a system called Twilio. Twilio is nothing but just like it's a whole text messaging central hub. And essentially you actually have to go in there, you have to create an account, and then you add the tokens into the back end here in High Level, so that way everything communicates seamlessly. And it's the same thing with Mailgun. So you go and you create a Mailgun account, grab the tokens, the authentication tokens, link that back up here in High Level. So now the text and the emails all go through the High Level system, but it's actually using these two third-party softwares on the back end. So that's how it works. So that is a very quick 30,000 foot overview of the High Level system. I know it can seem like a lot, but once you get in here, you start playing with it and you take one little small bite at a time, I promise you it does get much easier. If you do have any questions, we actually do have a bunch of free resources. You can click on the links below. We are always adding to them, doing more training videos like this. If you have any questions and actually you want to hop on with me, I'm more than happy to do a free automation business review assessment. We can hop on the phone for about 15 minutes, kind of walk you through, show you exactly what needs to be done, how to set it up, how to do it. And then also, if you guys like this video, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe. I know there's a lot of people that are really leveraging this new High Level platform. And the more, I can share this and get this out, the better it is for everybody. So really appreciate you checking this out, and I will see you on the next training.